Mabuhay Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Why I let Christian Filipina handle our visa process. Once we got to the point where we were going to get married, and it's so hard to believe, I had to pinch myself. She accepted my proposal. We had all these plans to get married, and that's just part of it. You still have to actually get her over. And originally, when I started pursuing her, I thought I could fly down to the Philippines, get married, and come back with her on together. But I did not know that you had to go through this immigration process. And when I heard it could take a year, it almost made me change my mind and say, well, I've been single long enough. Why would I want to marry somebody and wait another year to see her? And it was very uncomfortable to me, and it almost made me miss this opportunity. But I went with it. We got married very quickly, thank God. And then there was this process of getting her over here. Now, I don't even do my own taxes. Even when they were less complicated, I always went to H&R Block to do my taxes. Why? I didn't want to make a mistake. And when you're talking about paperwork for a visa, I am totally unfamiliar with that. Yes, I'm aware you can go online, and there's probably some really good videos out there to take you through the process. Now, admittedly, at the time, I wasn't aware of those videos because I was focusing all my time on communicating with her about 4 hours a day. We continued to communicate after we were married, not to that same extent, but then we were communicating about the visa process, the interview, and one big decision we had to make was, are we going to do it ourselves to save money? I figured maybe $1,000 or so. But on the other hand, if there were mistakes made, it could delay this another 3 or 4 months. I didn't want to make a mistake, have somebody send something back, fill it out, send it back, and sit on somebody's desk or get buried or get lost. And I've heard horror stories like that. I wanted it to go as smooth as possible. So Christian Filipina had a visa service. At that time, it's a little bit different now. So there was an individual I worked with, and I told him, I'm going to hold you accountable to have this thing go well, because I was alone a long time. I got married. I want to see this woman. I'm sure you know what you're doing, but got to let you know, I want this to move as fast as possible. And I'm sure most people do. I just wanted him to be aware that I was going to be looking at everything to make sure it was done right. I was going to be asking a lot of questions. Now, my wife wanted to do this to save money, like she always does, to save money. But at this point, although that's a good idea, it's a good thing, I would not discourage anybody from doing it themselves. I just didn't trust that I was going to be able to spend the time I needed to make sure it's done right. I work 6 days a week. And that was the case then, that's the case now. I didn't want to be stressed out over finding some time to look at this and then be confused, and who do I talk to now, and calling somebody and sitting there online for 2 hours. I liked the possibility of just sending emails to somebody, having them scan me what I need, give me all the information, ask any questions, and that's what I did. And I decided, look, we need to hire somebody. I trust who they've got. They've been doing it, a lot of visas. And it worked well because it took about 6 months from the time the USCIS, I guess it was, acknowledged the receipt of my original petition. That was around June 3rd or 4th. And then December 1st, about 6 months later, she was getting interviewed. Now, that's pretty fast. And if we wanted to, she could have been up here in 6.5 months. We also had a delay of 2 or 3 weeks because here in Nebraska, they need the official, what's now called the PSA version of the marriage certificate. I don't think any other state does. And this agent told me to be prepared for my petition to come back. And it did, with a letter that was very vague, that didn't say why it was coming back. And without his help, I would have thought that everything was wrong. But he told me, nope, that's what this is about, even though it didn't say for some reason. So we got to wait for this official version that has a seal that cannot be counterfeited. And so once we got that, probably got a fax of it, and gave it to him, and he took care of that. So it could have been done even sooner, and I think that's because I had some good help. Now, if you don't have a lot of other issues involved, like crimes or former spouses, other previous issues with Homeland Security, then it could go very fast. If there's not other like children involved in the petition, it's probably going to go faster if it's just the two of you. So really, if you get some help or you're really good at doing it yourself and can invest the time in it, maybe 6 months or so from the time they get it until the interview, if you really are in a hurry, and I hope you are, so you can be with that woman. So there's a lot of hoops to jump through. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. You get this stuff done, you send it in, and then you breathe a sigh of relief. You get notification that it's there. Then you wait for the next wave of information, and you get that, and make sure she's got her information. You make sure everything's right so it doesn't come back. So if you want to do it yourself, there's plenty of people out there now that have videos on how to do that. So that's what I did, and Christian Filipina helped speed up the process for me to be with my love beyond the sea.